Thank you. I'm 47 years old, I've lived in Cairns for 31 years, and what really concerns me is the crime problem. I've been involved in politics in Cairns for more than 20 years, and I've given many speeches about the serious crime problem that exists in Cairns. Cairns today, I believe very strongly, is one of the most dangerous, violent and unsafe cities in Australia. I mean, there's chaos going on. I mean, I just can't believe it. It's very serious violent crimes being committed every day. I mean, no one is safe, not even in their own homes. This is a disgusting, disgraceful situation. But there is a positive solution to the crime problem. I believe there needs to be much stronger, tougher laws. There needs to be the death penalty, corporal punishment and chain gangs. And that includes corporal punishment for juveniles who are committing some of the worst crimes in our society. The crimes are getting more extreme and dangerous and violent. And just last night here, I live at the shopping centre, there was a terrible crash. It's a ridiculous situation. There needs to be a re-establishment of strict discipline to every family and re-establishment of strict, harsh discipline to every school. This is absolutely necessary. The Queensland government has absolutely failed in dealing with the terrible crime of this. Everyone should be able to live their life in Cairns without ever being a victim of crime. And it's just a totally unacceptable situation. I mean, in teenage parties, which is totally unacceptable, the parents of our teenage parties should be severely prosecuted and locked up in jail for doing such a terrible thing. When you get hundreds of people together, or 700 people together, you can end up creating a riot situation, get people badly injured or killed, people could get overdosed on drugs. I mean, that situation is unacceptable. That man down at Gordonville thinks it's acceptable to have teenage parties. I mean, he should be treated as a criminal, locked up, and people like that shouldn't be having children. It's just unacceptable. They don't have to cover children properly. This is just unacceptable. Oh, there's one more thing I'm concerned about. I do think the rates and taxes in Cairns are too high. Many people, especially here in the Northern Beaches area, are paying a very high level of raising taxes. I think that the Cairns City Council should do something to try and reduce that tax, the raising taxes. This will help reduce people's financial burden, because people are experiencing it. The high level of raising taxes for many people in Cairns is making life very difficult for them. So, if I was elected mayor of Cairns, I'd do my best to try and reduce the level of raising taxes to make life for the Cairns people much easier. And I think also the council needs to do more to look after the beautiful natural environment that is the beautiful Northern Beaches. And also I'd like to see less hillside development, which I think over the last 20-30 years is scarring the beautiful mountain scenery around Cairns. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Peter. Selwyn, I believe you're next on the list. Thank you, Selwyn.
Kelly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And before I start, I'd like to thank Pam and Wendy for the kind invitation for being here tonight. And it's great to be back over the Yorkeys Knob Ratepayers Association. I've been here many times before. I'd like to raise Val 5. She's been here for 25. I've been here just over 30. So I see you 25 and raise you 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I first became involved with the Northern Beaches going back into July, I believe it was 2005, when it was set up the Cairns Residents Reference Group in relation to what we deemed at the time to be the outrageous rate rises and the inequitability of it as such. The gun? Thank you. We made numerous presentations to the Cairns City Council. Unfortunately, Cairns City Council in 2006, I believe, we had a meeting where the incumbent mayor, Councillor Byrne, refused to listen to the residents' suggestion of having rate capping. Had we had rate capping in this beautiful city of ours, we'd know exactly where we're going as far as where our rate rises would be going, and we'd know in advance. However, we were cut short. We were told that rate capping was not going to be part of the Cairns Regional Council system. However, I'm delighted to say that after submitting a 22-page document to the council, I noticed that part of the Unity platform is now to do rate capping at just over 6%. Well, at least we got somewhere with that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really, I might have been the last person to make a nomination for the mayoral candidacy, but I can assure you that it didn't come overnight. I've been canvassed for a number of years since the Residents Reference Group was set up, and it was immediately after the federal election in November of last year that things got a little bit hot. It was for that reason that I took serious consideration, consulted various members of the community and other groups, and it was at that time that I decided that I would have a run at being the Mayor of Cairns. And one of the main reasons being was that in 2004, a lot of people may not realise that it was quoted that there was landslide in the Unity team and that the Bashir-led team was very close behind. In actual fact, something like 15,000 people in the 2004 election did not vote. We canvassed some of those people. We found the reason why they did not vote was because they didn't want the incumbent and they didn't like the alternative. The reason that I'm running is again is because at the time of my nomination there was still only going to be a choice of 2 teams. And that's when I thought, well, now's the time we get an alternative in there so as people have got a choice rather than just having either a Conservative team or a Labor Green team. There's going to be opportunity to have a non-party representative who would also be prepared to work in with the other independent candidates who are not, as far as I understand, part of any team. They are running individually, so I'm led to believe. And I just want to make it quite clear that I'm not part of any team, have never been. As a matter of fact, I've never been a member of any political party in my life. If I could just highlight a couple of details. The 2008 local government election is without doubt the most important council election for decades as a result of the state government's decision to compulsory force the amalgamation of Queensland's 157 councils into 72, without public consultation or reference of the Queensland people. This substantial change will be critical to the lifestyle and well-being of residents of not only Cairns, but also the former Douglas Shire residents who have been incorporated into the new Cairns Regional Council, and that change must be managed carefully with sensitivity and professionalism. I am committed to open, transparent and community-inclusive council meetings, a review of rates, levies and other integrated council charges for services, preservation of the new Cairns Regional Council area's unique environment and heritage areas for all future development, ensure health, education, energy and roads infrastructure are funded to a nationally accepted level within the Cairns Regional Council precinct. I stand prepared to give equal weight to all community sectors, including small to large business interests of this new and vastly increased local government area, so that our region can move forward as a cooperative, inclusive and positive entity for the betterment of the entire region. I offer myself as an independent representative for Mayor who have absolutely no obligation to anybody except you, the residents and ratepayers of the Cairns Regional Council area. And I can guarantee that that situation will remain a characteristic of the new administration under my stewardship. You can be assured that I will be a servant of the people and represent the express majority will of the residents and ratepayers of the Cairns Regional Council area. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out and
Thank you very much, Selwyn. Now